Welcome to Muscles and Magic the Gathering, and you are here because you love Spellslingers, the greatest Magic deck of all time. Now, I'm not going to go that far and say it's the greatest Magic deck of all time, but I love spell slinging type decks. And when you're building a spell slinging deck, there's no better commander than Kess Dissident Mage. Not only is it one of the best spell slinger commanders, it's one of the best commanders, period, ever created. So today, we're going to learn the cards you want to put in a Kess deck, the cards I put in my Kess deck, why I put them in there, and we're going to have a lot of fun. This is Muscles and Magic the Gathering. I am the Muscles. I am Bobby Maximus, and this is Magic the Gathering, a thing that's been a passion of mine for 30 years. I have a massive collection. I currently have over 50 plus dedicated commander decks that all exist in real time. These are my real cards, no proxies, no flashing things or flashing graphics on the screen. Like, I am here to share my passion with you and show you my real cards. So with that in mind, let's get down to business and let's take a look at this Spellslinger deck. My commander, Kess Dissident Mage. By the way, back up a second here. You might also be here because you love The Witcher. You see, every single deck I have a pet name for, and this deck is called the Magical Academy Aretuza. Now, if you like The Witcher, you know what Aretuza is, and so you might have inadvertently expected here, ended up here to see some Witcher content, but we are not talking about The Witcher today. I just name all my decks funny little pet names. For example, my Goblin deck is named Jareth's Army, named after Jareth, the Goblin King, David Bowie, and Labyrinth. And so, a couple things before we go on. Subscribe to the show. You're going to love it. But also check the show notes for links to my Moxfield decks, because there's all kinds of little Easter eggs hidden in there that you will absolutely love. And there will certainly be a link to this deck as well. So now this is all done. Bills are paid, right? We've gone over the housekeeping stuff. Let's get back to talking about Kess Dissident Mage, one of my favorite commanders. All right. It's blue, black, and red. Flying. Once during each of your turns, you may cast an instant or sorcery spell from your graveyard. If a spell cast this way would be put into your graveyard, exile it instead. So tremendous commander. We have 3 Planeswalkers in this deck to support this commander. We have Teferi, Temporal Pilgrim. Whenever you draw a card, put a loyalty counter on Teferi, Temporal Pilgrim. There's going to be a lot of card draw in here, but oh, look, Teferi can draw a card himself. I love card draw. Card draw in Commander is super important, and it's important in any Commander deck ever. The -2 ability, create a 2/2 blue spirit creature token with Vigilance, and whenever you draw a card, put a 1/1 counter on this creature. And then the final ability, target opponent chooses a permanent they control and returns it to owner's hand. Then they shuffle each non-land permanent they control into its owner's library. So great final ability. Mean, nasty card. Love it. Each opponent can't draw more than 1 card each turn. A total shutdown piece. One of the best Planeswalkers ever. I'll go on record as saying that. And certainly one of the best ones from War of the Spark. All right. And Jace the Mind Sculptor. There was a day this card was everything. It's come down in value because it's being reprinted a bunch, but it's still every bit as powerful as it's always been. The +2 ability, look at the top card of target player's library. You may put that card on the bottom of the library. Draw 3 cards, then put 2 cards from your hand on top of your library in any order. The -1 ability, return target creature to its owner's hand. And then -12, exile all cards from target player's library. Then that player shuffles his or her hand into his or her library. That's pretty much a game ender. So those are my 3 Planeswalkers. Now let's talk about creatures. Now I do have this deck listed on my Moxfield. Again, we are light on creatures. There's only 21 creatures in this deck because it is a Spellslinger's deck. So just keep that in mind. We have this Phantasmal Image, an auto-include in most blue decks these days. You may have Phantasmal Image enter the battlefield as a copy of any creature on the battlefield, except it's an illusion in addition to its other types, and it gains when the creature becomes the target of spell or ability. Sacrifice it. Oh, everyone's favorite card. You know, you love this one. A lot of you are just like, I hate this deck already. Jin Gitaxias, Progress Tyrant. Whenever you cast an artifact, instant, or sorcery spell, copy that spell. You can choose new targets for the copy. This ability triggers only once each turn. Whenever an opponent casts an artifact, instant, or sorcery spell, counter that spell. This ability triggers only once each turn. Arcanus, the omnipotent legendary creature. It's a wizard. You can draw 3 cards. Huge ability. Return Arcanus the Omnipotent at instant speed to its owner's hand. Love this card. And this deck is heavy on wizards. This is the Magical Academy of Aretuza. We have a lot of wizards. This is my wizard kinfolk deck. It's not just a Spellslinger deck. This is a wizard kinfolk deck. If there is such a thing. Thassa's Oracle. So you know the fact that Thassa's Oracle's in here. There's going to be a couple of other cards, maybe a Tainted Pact, maybe a Demonic Consultation. It's one of the win conditions. But we'll see about that. I'll hold you in suspense. We have the Snapcaster Mage. Another wizard. Enters the battlefield, target instant or sorcery card in your graveyard, gains flashback until the end of turn. The flashback cost is equal to its mana cost. Lear, Disciple of the Drowned. Another wizard that gives stuff in my graveyard flashback. Dark Confident, a great wizard for card draw and card advantage. The Hadi Djinn, power is equal to the amount of instant sorcery cards in your graveyard, and instant sorceries cost 1 less to cast. One of my favorite cards from the Outlaw of Thunder Junction set. Slickshot Show Off. Flying Haste, whenever you cast a non-creature spell, it gets +2/+0 until the end of turn. Jace, Bryn's Prodigy, draw a card, then discard a card. If there are 5 or more cards in your graveyard, exile Jace, then return them to the battlefield transformed under its owner's control, and it turns into Jace Telepath Unbound. Up to 1 target creature gets -2, -0 until your next turn. You may cast target instant sorcery card from your graveyard this turn. There's a theme here. You can get a lot of stuff out of the graveyard. I want to cast a lot of spells with this deck. And then finally, you get an emblem with whenever you cast a spell, target opponent puts top 5 cards of his library into his or her graveyard. Okay, so this is wizard heavy, and then we are getting a lot of instances sorcerers from the graveyard. Shoulder the Apocalypse. What can I say about this card? It's incredible. I have it in almost any black deck that I have. This should have been a game changer. It's one of the most powerful black cards of all time. Certainly a worthwhile include in this deck to make it a little more powerful. Whenever you draw a card, you gain 2 life. Whenever an opponent draws a card, they lose 2 life. And I'm actually going to put that aside because I want to feature that with, there's an instant sorcery card that I have in this deck that works really, really well with Shieldred. So wait for that. Azami, Lady of Scrolls. Tap an untapped wizard you control. Draw a card. Great wizard. Consecrated Sphinx. Flying. Whenever an opponent draws a card, you may draw 2 cards. Love Otters, especially in a Storms, a Spellslinger deck. Haste and Prowess and instant and sorcery spells cost 1 less to cast. Talion the Kindly Lord. Great shutdown card. As Talion the Kindly Lord enters the battlefield, choose a number between 1 and 10. Whenever an opponent casts a spell with mana value, power, or toughness equal to the chosen number, that player loses 2 life and draw a card. You're always going to pick 2, by the way. Ral, Monsoon Mage. All right, instant and sorcery spells cost 1 less to cast. Whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell, flip coin. If you lose a flip, Ral deals 1 damage to you. If you win, you may exile Ral, and if you do, you transform it, and it transforms to Ral, Leeline Prodigy, another Planeswalker. It enters the battlefield with an additional loyal counter on him for each instant and sorcery spell you've cast this turn. +1 ability. Until your next turn, instant and sorcery spells cost 1 less to cast. Ral deals 2 damage divided as you choose among 1 or 2 targets. Draw a card. If you control a blue permanent other than Ral, that's a -2 ability. The final ability. Look at the top 8 cards of your library. You may cast instant and sorcery spells from among them without paying their mana cost. Love this card. Great card from Modern Horizons 3. Spellseeker. You don't see this that much, but you see it a lot more. When it is a battlefield, you search your library for an instant or sorcery card with converted mana cost 2 or less. Reveal it, put it into your hand so it acts as a tutor. Mean wizard. Meanest wizard of all time. The Chief of Compliance, Boral. Instant sorcery spells you cast cost 1 less to cast. Whenever a spell or ability you control counters a spell, you may draw a card. If you do, discard a card. Teferi, Mage of Zalfir. Flash, creature cards you own that aren't in play have flash. Each opponent can play spells only anytime he or she could play a sorcery. Great card. Stormkiln Artist. Gets +1/+0 for each artifact you control. Magecraft. Whenever you cast or copy an instant or sorcery spell, create a treasure token. You're building a Spellslinger deck. That is an auto include. And then this card, Archmage Emeritus. Whenever you cast or copy an instant or sorcery spell, draw a card. Lots of card draw in this deck. and lots of effects that take advantage of sorceries and instants. Now we are going to move on to artifacts. The One Ring, great card draw engine, if you will, and a game changer. The Isochron Scepter, you know you need that when you are playing with a bunch of instant cards, okay? Talisman of Dominance, the Arcane Signet, Sensei's Divining Top, Talisman of Creativity, Soul Ring, bunch of mana ramp, and we have an illegal card here, all right? We play Rule Zero around here. I do use illegal cards. I got this out of some 30th anniversary packs. I know some people didn't like them. I absolutely loved them. I'd love your opinion of that in the comments below, but loved it. And I was able to pull that huge pull. I screamed. Literally, this had to be featured in my deck. And keep in mind, when I build my decks, I build them for collectability mostly. My play table, we play with Rule Zero, so we can play with whatever cards we want. But if I don't, I mean, there's only one banned card in here. It's the Mox Jet. And this deck, by the way, it is an optimized bracket 4. It's got 6 game changers. It's got 10 tutors. It's got 1 extra turn card that will be revealed soon. But really, I do have a sideboard. And if people don't want to play Rule Zero, I can easily take this out for something else, maybe a Mana Vault, and then away we go. So those are my artifacts. We have 1 enchantment, 1 Storm Chaser's Talent. When Storm Chaser's Talent, you create a 1/1 blue and red otter creature with prowess. When this becomes class 2, you can return a target instant sorcery card from the graveyard to your hand. And whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell, create a 1/1 blue and red otter creature token with prowess for class 3 or level 3. So love that card. So we have covered the Planeswalkers. We've covered the commander. We've covered the creatures. I promised I would leave Shouldered out. And now it is time to talk about, and I'm going to leave this right over here. It's going to disappear over here. We're just going to phase it out for a minute, and we're going to go over the instants and sorceries, all right? Beseech the Mirror. Search your library for a card. I can't even get this thing squared up. Stuck on the table. There we go. Search your library for a card. Exile it face down, then shuffle. The spell is bargained. You may cast the exiled card without paying its mana cost. If that spell's mana value is 4 or less, put the exiled card into your hand. If it wasn't cast this way, and to bargain it, you sacrifice an artifact, enchantment, or token as you cast the spell. Gamble, maybe the greatest red tutor of all time. I think it's one of the only real red tutors. I absolutely love it. Insatiable Avarice, another tutor. There's a lot of tutors in this deck, so I'm looking for some win conditions. Solve the equation. Search your library for an instant or sorcery card, reveal it, put it into your hand, and shuffle. Shatter Skull Smashing. It's a red burn spell, but it also acts as a land. Gitaxian Probe. Love looking at other people's hands. Really advantageous in a game of Commander. Yawgmoth's Will. Had to include this. Ways to get stuff back from my graveyard. Diabolic Intent. Yet another tutor. By the way, when I said this has all the tutors, we have Diabolic Intent. We have a demonic tutor. We have let me look through this here off camera. We have a vampiric tutor. So we got a lot of tutors in here to go get our win condition. We have an extra turn card, the Temporal Mastery. All right. Super good card to get an extra turn. It's funny. I do have a Time Walk that I play with sometimes, but I've won the game more off a Temporal Mastery than I have a Time Walk. So I absolutely love it. Stock up. I think the best card from Ether Drift, it's incredible. The power creep on this is unbelievable. Like a few years ago, this would have cost 7 mana to use this card. Look at the top 5 cards of your library, put 2 of them into your hand and the rest of the bottom of your library in any order. We have Damnation, which is a great board wipe. Toxic Deluge, another great board wipe. We have Brainstorm. I love this card. Draw 3 cards and put 2 cards from your hand on top of your library in any order. We have a Counterspell. We have another Counterspell and an offer you can't refuse. We have the Dark Ritual, great for mana ramp. We have the Flare of Denial. We have the Flame of Anor from Lord of the Rings. Cast 1 if you control a wizard. And we have a lot of wizards in here. This is the ultimate place for this card. Target player draws 2 cards. Destroy target artifact. Always good to destroy artifacts in a game of Commander. And it can deal 5 damage to target creature. Force of Negation, another great counterspell. Flusterstorm, another great counterspell. You can see a huge control element in the wizard deck. All right, Mana Drain, another great counterspell. Force of Will, another great counterspell. Swan Song, another, you sick of me saying that yet? Another great counterspell. Please let me know in the comments if I missed any counterspells. I think I got them all. Now, Muddle the Mixture. Counter target instant or sorcery spell, but you can transmute it. Discard this card, search your library for a card with the same mana value as this card. Reveal it, put it into your hand, and shuffle, so it acts as a tutor. The Mystical Tutor. Another tutor. We have all the tutors in this deck. Lightning Bolt from the Secret Lair. Love Lightning Bolt. If there was such thing as the most perfect Magic card ever created, it might be this. It's absolutely awesome. By the way, there was a time in Magic, and I'm from this era, you could literally make a 60-card deck and use 40 Lightning Bolts. This is before the rule of 4. Like I said, I've been playing for 30 years. I am old school. We have 3 Sorceries instants left to reveal. By the way, there's a lot in this deck. We have 14 Sorceries. We have 17 instants, so 31 total cards. When I said it was a Spellslinger deck, I was not kidding, all right? But the last 3, Demonic Consultation goes without explanation, works with Thassa's Oracle. Tainted Pact works with Thassa's Oracle. Huge win conditions there. And then the card I wanted to display was Sheoldred, my favorite sorcery of all time, and I actually own 7 of these. Wheel of Fortune. All players must discard their hands and draw 7 new cards. Whenever you draw a card, you gain 2 life. Whenever an opponent draws a card, they lose 2 life. So that is a nasty, mean, unkind combo. And any time I can put it in the deck with black and red, I do that. We have a bunch of basic lands. All right, bunch of islands, some swamps. We have some beautiful mountains here. All right, some of these Phyrexian oil slicks. So we have a bunch of basic lands. I will not bore you with those, although basic lands might be the most powerful card in Magic, right? Lands are where all your spells flow from. Don't sleep on lands. All right, now we have the non-basic lands. We have Sulphur Falls, Fierce Lake, Frostboil Snarl, Temple of Epiphany. We have the Izzet Boilerworks. We have the Reliquary Tower. All right. You have no maximum hand size. You saw all the card draw in this deck, so you need this. The City of Brass, the Fiery Islet, Badlands, True Dual Land. I've got like 50 dual lands. Absolutely love them. They're just scattered throughout my decks. Polluted Delta, it might be 60 dual lands. I have no idea. I have a bunch of them. Watery Grave, Dark Slick Shores, Xander's Lounge. Love those tri-lands from Capenna. Capenna's one of my favorite sets of all time, by the way. The Spire Bluff Canal, Training Center, the River Pyre Verge, the Thundering Falls, Ottawara, the Soaring City, and we have a basic that I forgot about, and that is the Magical Academy of Aretuza. Really, really, really high on instants, really high on sorceries. It is my wizard kinfolk type deck, hence why it's called the Magical Academy of Aretuza. But here's my ask to you, right? I love the community. I love having Magic the Gathering friends, and I want to constantly tinker with my decks. You know, when I haven't been fighting in the UFC, when I'm not doing Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, when I'm not working out, I am tinkering with my decks. And one of my favorite things to do lately, the best part of content creating, is going to my comments and seeing, oh, Bobby, add this card. What about this card? What about this card? So if you have cards that you would add to this deck, and again, you can get my deck on the show notes, but if you have any cards that you would like to add to this deck or see me add, please put them in the comments below, and I will add them to the deck. Like, since I've made my videos that you've seen online or all over my YouTube channel, I think it's some of the best Magic content on the planet because I actually use real cards that I own from my collection. You know, a lot of people do videos with the graphics. I don't have to. These are my real cards. Like, this is a real passion, right? This isn't something I'm just talk about. I am about this. But the decks that I show, you know, my Dragon deck, for example, I've changed it probably 5 times with people leaving comments for me. So please leave me a comment on how you would improve this deck or what you would do. I almost always go back and fix my decks and do, you know, tinker with them and stuff like that. That's what I do in my spare time. So please give me suggestions. It brings a lot of joy to my life. I don't know if you could hear, I don't know if the mic picked it up, my kids laughing in the background. It brings a lot of joy to their life too. They play Magic the Gathering with me. They love it. They love adding new cards to the deck. They help me out. And we are a Magic the Gathering family. So thank you for coming by genuinely from the bottom of my heart and sharing a passion with me. Muscles, Magic the Gathering. Subscribe. Like I said, like the video, share it with your friends, and stay tuned for all the videos I have to put up because we have over 50 commander decks. The train is not stopping.